The reason I'm making this is because I've just made a couple of videos on resistance. And I use this term quite a lot about showing up to yourself and also about being in the unfolding moment of your becoming. And really I wanted to demonstrate something of what I mean by that in a practical sense of how you can use this to better process affect. What I mean by that is the sensation, the experience, sensorial experience of an emotion. As what is it that you're actually feeling? What is it that you are actually feeling? The reason why we have emotion generally is to inspire us towards action, either away from threats or towards opportunities. So we know this if you think about any memories that you've got of from your own life, that often it's the things that were traumatic, the things that were frightening or even terrifying if you've been unfortunate enough to experience such things. And to a certain degree, we all have when we were children. There's, that extreme fear that will cause us to recognize a threat and then re-navigate a different course, choose a different path and move away from that threat. And then the same is true for positive emotions towards things that we enjoy. So this is what, the pleasure and pain principle is kind of central to this. But it's there to inform us about opportunities and threats in the environment. Sometimes we can end up having we can have thoughts or impressions, or we can be triggered by something in the external environment that can cause us to re-feel emotions that have been left unprocessed. And maybe that's what's happening in this moment for me. But regardless of whether that's true or not, it's still, I have an affect, I have an emotion for which I cannot discern the cause. So I don't know what's causing it. All I know is that it's an intense feeling in the heart area of discomfort, there's an anxiety there. So if I don't have a mental representation, because there's nothing in my immediate environment and there's nothing in my mental state or my emotional state to trigger it, why is it? What's happening? And how do we process it? Now, some people will take this emotion, they feel sad, they feel anxious, they feel upset, and then they will attempt to ameliorate it. So this is what can sometimes cause addictions, because people will turn to alcohol or substances or experiences sex addiction, porn addiction, whatever it might be. It doesn't really matter, but it's a diversion and a dissociation. Right, I've got reload battery, away from the direct emotional or physical experience. So how do we process this? Some people will, as I say, dissociate or relocate themselves, put themselves into a different environment where they will then not feel the feeling that they're feeling, not feel the anxiety that they're feeling. This is the same, for example, with people who experience obsessive compulsive disorders. It can become an ingrained pattern of behavior. Same with addictions, really, because they're compulsive behaviors. So what's the alternative? The alternative, I'm getting to it, this sense of showing up to yourself, being present in the unfolding moment of your becoming, and more specifically this question about resistance, is that if I do those things, then I'm resisting the actual truth of my experience of being alive, which is that in this moment, this sensation here, this feeling of anxiety, of sadness, of potential fear, and I'm not knowing why, if I can't seek or discover a reason for it and then act accordingly to either change my environment then what am I left to do? Either I distract myself, I self-soothe, I go watch Netflix, I do something else that is going to distract me from that feeling. The invitation here in showing up and non-resistance is to feel it. Not with and the trick here, the key here is uncertainty. You don't know how long that feeling is going to last. And part of the resistance of going into that emotion is the concern that that's how you're going to feel forever. And most emotions have a half-life of about 1.5 minutes, and it's coming up for a reason. I'm unconscious of it at the moment. I'm unconscious of the cause of it. But it's likely there's going to be a cause, something that I am unconscious of. So by being with the feeling and not trying to resolve it, not trying to distract myself, not trying to give a reason to it, if I do that, then I could start projecting outwards onto other people, other circumstances, other situations. And then again, I lose myself. I lose touch with the relationship I'm having to myself. And this is key. This is key, to really feel into it and allow yourself to be with it. Because when you do this, you are accepting yourself fully. This is what I mean by self-love. Moving towards this self-acceptance. It's okay to feel it. It's okay to be with it. Allow it to... It's a signal. It's a message. It's a voice from your unconscious speaking to you, from your psyche, from the unconscious part of your psyche speaking to you, speaking to me in this moment, trying to give me a message. I don't know what that message is. It's incumbent upon me, the invitation is there to listen. So that's what I'm going to go and do now. I'm going to go and be with it, be with myself fully, and allow it to be, not with a desire to change it, but let it come through and to be with the sensation. And then what you will often find is that it will shift and move through of its own accord. Yeah. Or something will be behind it, an insight. But if we go into it expecting or wanting those things to be revealed, then we put upon it, we put upon that emotion, we put upon that state a meaning that is not yet there for us to ascribe. It is for us to listen to this is what I mean by resisting life will hold you back. Resisting life will take energy, because if I'm resisting this, how do I know? It's not going to keep being there as a low level of anxiety sort of permeating the background of my life. I know it won't, because this is the path to what resolves it in my experience. And yet I am still uncertain. I go in with an openness in my heart and in my mind that I don't know what's going to happen next. Only a willingness to be with myself. And this is what I mean by to not resist life. Are you resisting life, and is it draining you? Because to try and, it's like having the brakes on and then try and put the accelerator on behind that to force your way through it. That works in some situations, and sometimes we have to do that for our survival. But if you have the option, I would invite you to try it. I would invite you to try it. And I think that's probably, I hope I've said enough. I hope I've been clear enough on that. And I hope that has given you something in terms of a real-time explanation of what I mean by showing up to yourself, loving yourself, because love is really acceptance, full acceptance. Complete, unconditional love for yourself is complete acceptance for whatever you feel, whatever state you're in. Accept and be with yourself. It's self-care. It is to nurture yourself and to be with it. And then to be in the unfolding moment of your becoming is to be willing to find out. And that was where my battery died. All I wanted to add there was please like, share, subscribe, and say be well. Take care. Until next time. Bye for now.